They stepped out of the Brighton Theater into the cold Chicago night, just after the final showing let out, the sidewalk crowded with laughing teenagers and the glow of marquee lights fading behind them. 15-year-old Patricia Grimes walked slightly ahead, confident and familiar with the neighborhood, while her younger sister Barbara, only 13, kept pace beside her. They had taken the bus to the movies before, and they were expected home shortly. Their mother, Loretta Grimes, waited in their apartment on South Damen Avenue, listening for the sound of the front door that never came. When the girls failed to return by midnight, Loretta began calling neighbors, then friends, then the police. At first, officers treated it as a routine runaway situation. Patricia and Barbara were described as responsible girls who rarely broke rules, but teenagers disappearing after a movie was not yet seen as an emergency. Hours passed, then days. Loretta plastered the city with photographs of her daughters, walking the streets in the winter cold, begging strangers to look at their faces and remember if they had seen them. The case began to attract attention as rumors spread through Chicago's South Side that 2 girls had vanished into the night without leaving a trace. Police followed dozens of leads. Witnesses claimed they had seen the sisters boarding a bus. Others swore they were last spotted near a diner. One anonymous tip suggested the girls had been picked up by a stranger offering a ride. Each report collapsed under scrutiny. As the days turned into weeks, the search widened beyond the city. Investigators questioned known offenders, questioned classmates, and sifted through hundreds of tips that offered more noise than clarity. Despite the effort, no evidence placed Patricia and Barbara anywhere after they left the theater. Nearly a month later, on a snowy roadside near Willow Springs, southwest of Chicago, construction workers made a discovery that ended hope but deepened the mystery. The frozen bodies of Patricia and Barbara Grimes lay beside a desolate stretch of road, exposed to the elements. They were not buried. They were not concealed. They were simply there, as if placed deliberately to be found. The shock rippled across the city. Chicago had been searching for 2 missing girls. Now it had to confront their deaths. Autopsies revealed details that immediately complicated the official narrative. Patricia, the older sister, showed signs consistent with prolonged exposure to the cold. Barbara's condition suggested she had died earlier, under circumstances that did not match her sister's timeline. Their stomach contents indicated they had eaten food days after the night they disappeared, contradicting the idea that they had died shortly after leaving the theater. Even more troubling, the state of decomposition differed between the 2 bodies, implying they had not died at the same time or in the same place. Authorities initially ruled the deaths accidental, suggesting the girls had wandered, become lost, and succumbed to the harsh winter conditions. But this explanation failed to satisfy the medical findings or the public. How had 2 young girls survived weeks in winter temperatures without shelter, only to die together near a roadside miles from their home? How had they eaten days after vanishing without anyone seeing them? And why did their injuries and conditions suggest separate experiences before death? As doubts mounted, police quietly shifted their stance. The possibility of abduction entered the conversation, followed by speculation about a serial offender. Investigators questioned men known to prey on young girls, including individuals later linked to other violent crimes. None could be definitively tied to the Grimes sisters. Each suspect raised more questions than answers, and the evidence never rose beyond circumstantial. The case took another unsettling turn when Loretta Grimes herself became a focus of attention. Grief-stricken and exhausted, she had worked tirelessly to keep her daughters' faces in the public eye. Yet inconsistencies in her statements and rumors about her personal life drew scrutiny. Newspapers speculated openly, and police questioned her repeatedly. In the end, no evidence supported any accusation against her, but the damage was done. The investigation fractured under the weight of suspicion, misdirection, and public pressure. Years passed, and the case drifted into cold case status, resurfacing only when a new suspect or theory briefly reignited interest. Some investigators later believed the girls may have been held captive for weeks, moved between locations, and released or abandoned when their captor felt pressure closing in. Others argued that the autopsy evidence had been misinterpreted, that time and exposure could explain the discrepancies. None of these theories could be proven. The truth remained locked behind missing hours and unanswered questions. What endures is the unsettling mismatch between what authorities claimed happened and what the evidence appeared to show. Two sisters left a movie together, vanished into a city full of people, and were found weeks later under circumstances that still defy a clear explanation. Their case stands as a reminder of how easily certainty can fracture when facts refuse to align, and how some answers fade even as decades pass. Thank you for listening to The Lantern's Tale. Subscribe for more true stories, if you dare.